Everybody, thank you very much for being here. Looks like we are live on all of our platforms again. So, man, I am having a lot of fun with this Rumble Studio app that lets you multi stream to a lot of different platforms all simultaneously. And I'm trying new features. I figured out how to get my thumbnail up there. It's not as easy as going straight through the app itself. You have to create it using the Rumble desktop version. But man, yeah, you can do it. And I'm just having a blast with figuring it all out. But anyway, the topic for this live stream is going to be how to spot a Ponzi scheme. And the way this figures out into online marketing, work from home, business opportunities, things like that, is that a lot of times people will see affiliate marketing business opportunity or a network marketing MLM business opportunity, and they will just say, okay, that's a Ponzi scheme. And a lot of times they will say that not knowing what a Ponzi scheme is. It's just that's the way a lot of us have been conditioned to think. That the only real way, the only legitimate way of earning money is to go out and get a real job, work 40 years, retire, and then live on, what is it, 40% of what you actually earned? Something like that. It's not, when you think about it long term, it's not that sweet of a deal. But a lot of people think that's the only way to make a living. Well, there are other ways to make a living, other legitimate ways, but unfortunately, there are a lot of scams out there. And so, what I want to discuss in this live stream is to first of all take the idea of a Ponzi scheme. What is it, and how does that impact home based business? Where are you likely to see real Ponzi schemes in the home based business area? And first of all, a Ponzi scheme is an illegal, illegitimate, fraudulent investment opportunity where you get into it, you pay your money, and then new people that come into the program, their money pays the older investors. There is nothing or very little of value in the actual investment opportunity. And without new money coming in on a regular basis, the investment opportunity will eventually collapse because it does not have any way of generating a real legitimate profit. And you see these things, they're like opportunities where you literally, well, figuratively, but where you rob Peter to pay Paul. You've heard of that old expression. Well, that's what a Ponzi scheme is. You take money from one person, you give it to the other person, and you say that's your share of the profits. But actually, there's no profitable activity going on. It's just a money grab where new people come in with their money, and that pays the older people in the group. And the thing about Ponzi schemes, they will vary as to their lifetime, but if it's a straight up Ponzi scheme, it will not survive long term. There are some Ponzi schemes that have done well for a few years. Most Ponzi schemes that I am aware of tend to collapse within a few months to, let's say, 2 or 3 years. And it's because they have nothing of value to sell within the program. And it's just a matter of laundering money, actually, taking money from one person, giving it to another person. One Ponzi scheme that's come to light, one alleged Ponzi scheme, I should say, is one involving entrepreneur Ty Lopez. He has recently been charged by the SEC, I believe, of operating a Ponzi-like scheme, allegedly, in which a lot of the money that was being used to pay investors was actually coming from new investors and not from the investment opportunity itself. Turns out it was a scheme where he and another partner of his were buying up bankrupt or or dying companies and remodeling them, rebranding them, giving them a new look and feel and putting them online and then saying they are now profitable. And it now turns out that a lot of those companies perhaps were not as profitable as they were being people were being led to believe. And so, yeah, that's what happens. Usually, a Ponzi scheme will collapse of its own accord, or it will be shut down by the SEC, or a combination of the two. And when you're looking at online marketing business opportunities, you really do need to be careful because I have seen cryptocurrency and other Ponzi schemes out there that masquerade as affiliate marketing opportunities. Something where, it's like, I don't want to name any names, but there was a uh, uh, Bitcoin producing type opportunity about 14, 15 years ago, in which you would buy a Bitcoin pack for about $50. And they use that terminology. You didn't invest in a Bitcoin pack. You had to buy a Bitcoin pack, and then you held on to it. You would get 7% interest. I think it was every week that you held on to it. So imagine that. And I think after about 2 or 3 weeks, you had the option of cashing it out or reinvesting it. But of course, you couldn't call it an investment because they didn't want anybody to know that they were actually organizing a illegal securities thing. But yeah, you could use the money to buy more Bitcoin packs and just keep it going. And for a while, this Bitcoin Ponzi scheme actually did pretty well. I was an investor in it. I did not sell it to other people. I was kind of, shall we say, skeptical about the whole arrangement. But at the same time, I had this fear of missing out that said, why don't we just take about $50, every week, whatever we can afford, put it into these Bitcoin packs and see if they did magically reproduce more Bitcoins. And lo and behold, it did for about 9 months. And what I noticed, what I saw, is that as long as the Bitcoin market was going good, the opportunity would be making money. And they would be paying out on these Bitcoin packs, and people would be joining, people would be getting in. And, it was no problem getting your money out of the Bitcoin packs. But when the cryptocurrency market started to go down, and people became more reluctant to invest or buy those Bitcoin packs. That's when payments to older investors began to slow way down and then suddenly stop completely. And that's about the same time that the company came under investigation by the SEC in the United States and in Canada. The Canadian version of the SEC, I forget what that's called. But the owners of this Bitcoin business opportunity, let's just call it that, at first they defended themselves. They said, no, what we're doing is perfectly legit. But then when the SEC came in, they got their cease and desist letters. They pulled out of the United States and Canada, told everybody, okay, we're leaving, bye-bye, and just went across the pond to Europe. And I think they were still active in South America too, but they totally abandoned the US and Canadian markets. And that is one other thing that if you see this in a so-called business opportunity, really beware. Two things, actually. One is it pays out more money than what it logically should. Tai Lopez and the Ponzi scheme or alleged Ponzi scheme that he is alleged to have been involved in, he was paying out 25% dividends yearly to his investors. And now the SEC is alleging that $59 million of that did not come from profits. It came from new investors, which is the very definition of Ponzi scheme. And in this Bitcoin Ponzi scheme that I'm talking about, yeah, it was 7% interest that they were paying on these Bitcoin packs every freaking week. So yeah, you got in for $50 one week, hold on to it for 2 weeks, you get $57. You let it ride, you could conceivably get a lot more. The problem is that as long as they are creating those profits in a legitimate way, like with the Ty Lopez thing, as if that money was coming from the business investments that they were actually promoting, from the businesses that they rebranded and were telling everybody was now profitable, that would be great. That would be wonderful. That would be a godsend. And in the cryptocurrency opportunity that I unfortunately got wrapped up in as an investor 15 years ago or so, they said that the money was coming from bots who were trading cryptocurrency on the market. And turns out that wasn't the case. It was just a straight up Ponzi scheme. It may have been partially true that they were creating wealth and money by trading different cryptocurrencies. That can be done. There are bots that can pretty well. But to be able to do it when the market is up and then also be able to do it when the market is down takes great skill, takes some pretty darn good bots, takes a lot of planning, and it's pretty hard to do that and guarantee a certain rate of interest being paid every week. But I mean, that's another hallmark of the Ponzi scheme. They guarantee this interest rate and they will stick to it. They say this is risk-free, 100%, no slip-ups. And when you start hearing that, especially if it's in a volatile market that could go either way, I mean, stock market, you never make 7% interest. You never make a 7% gain every week in the stock market, because some weeks the stock market will go up. Other weeks, the stock market will go down. Some weeks you earn, some weeks you lose. You hope on the average you're coming out ahead. And that's the way it is in business, any kind of business. So some months are great in any business. Some months may not be so great. But with the Ponzi schemes, they tell you what you want to hear, that this is going to be a guaranteed profit, and it is going to be an astronomically high profit. So when you see those two combinations, beware and look out. Another thing to be mindful of in a Ponzi scheme or potential Ponzi scheme that you may run across online, check out the people involved. Do they really have expertise in the area that they claim to have expertise in? In my Bitcoin opportunity that I sadly got involved in as an investor many, many years ago, the propaganda that they were putting out was that all the people involved in that Bitcoin trading and multiplying opportunity had 10 years of experience in the crypto world. And turns out they really didn't. A lot of them had 10 years experience in promoting one scam after another scam after another scam. And actually, one of the owners in the company was forced to resign because it was made public that he was involved in a pretty hefty scam somewhere in South America. So they got rid of him because, bad publicity for the company, and they replaced him with another guy that really didn't have much experience in anything that the company was supposed to be all about. And I mean, when you see stuff like that happening, beware greatly. And also, what you need to do is check out the company itself, because some of these Ponzi schemes are not properly incorporated. Sometimes they will claim that, yeah, we're incorporated in the state of New Jersey, Washington, Missouri, whatever. And then you go and you investigate them. You talk to the Secretary of State of that particular state, and you go through their website. You try to look up that company, find out that they're not legally incorporated as a corporation in that state. And so by doing a little bit of homework, you can actually save yourself a lot of heartache by buying into a scammy Ponzi scheme, like I sadly did so many years ago, and learn from it. And it can potentially save you hundreds, if not thousands, of lost dollars. And if you don't know how to find the Secretary of State's office on the web, another very easy thing that you can do, and a resource that some entrepreneurs criticize. I like it myself. You can go to the Better Business Bureau and plug in the name of the company that you want to research. If it is a legitimate company and it's been around for a few years, then yeah, the Better Business Bureau will have some records of it. They will be able to tell you who owns it. And more importantly, they'll also be able to tell you how many complaints have been registered by dissatisfied customers with that company. And the Better Business Bureau has two different ways of gauging whether a company is good or not. The one is they are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. This essentially means that they pay money to the Better Business Bureau. They are then, the Better Business Bureau takes a look at them. If they seem to be legit, then they will give them an accreditation. And a lot of people criticize that because they say you're essentially paying the Better Business Bureau for them to speak well of you. But the second, it's not the accreditation. This is what I place most of my emphasis on. Most of the weight I use when I investigate a company is their rating. And every company, whether they are accredited or not, will have a rating anywhere from A plus to F. And if I'm looking at a company, an affiliate marketing company, a health and supplements company, MLM company, network marketing company, or even just a pet grooming company on the BBB website. I will look at that rating, and the rating is based on how many customer complaints have come in and how well the company has responded to those customer complaints. And if a company has had no customer complaints, then the rating will usually be like A plus. Now, if they get one complaint after several years, the company responds in a good way. They may keep their A plus rating, or they may get dropped down to just an A rating. Now, if they're really not responding to customer complaints and they're getting some customer complaints, more than just a few, you might see a B type rating or a C type rating. And then if you got a company that's just getting slammed by a lot of customer complaints and the company is not taking any action, it's just acting like we don't care, then that's where you'll see the F rating. And so when I am checking out an affiliate marketing company or an MLM or network marketing type offer, and I look it up on the Better Business Bureau, and I see that they have an F rating, that for me is a definite deal killer. I don't want to do business with that company. I don't even want to be associated with anybody who does do business with that company. That's how seriously I take it. All of the companies that I have been involved in since for the last, let's say, about 8 years or so, I can look them up on the Better Business Bureau. They all have either an A plus or an A rating. That's how picky I am about the companies now that I choose to promote. Because in my younger days, going back 10 plus years in the past, I was not very skeptical. I was not very careful. And yeah, I got taken a few different times. So yeah, if you check them out, they're not properly incorporated. They don't have a board of directors like they say they do. They're not publishing, financial statements and things like that every quarter. And if they're either non-existent on the Better Business Bureau site, or they're just not registered in the state that they say they're registered in, I would say that those would be huge, huge red flags. Don't get involved in businesses like that. And also check out the business owners themselves. How long have they been running the business? How long have they been running any business? There are a lot of owners out there, business people, who will say that they are serial entrepreneurs. And at first, that sounds good, right? This guy's a real go-getter. He or she is just out there busy, creating new companies, building new businesses. Serial entrepreneur. He's got like 5 or 10 businesses all going at the same time. That's the way you think, right? Serial entrepreneur can also apply to a person who starts a company one year, it collapses, he goes off, starts a new company the next year, it collapses, and then the year after that starts a new company, it collapses, lather, rinse, repeat. Just a steady stream of failures with no real success to show. If somebody is referring to themselves as a serial entrepreneur, that can be a bad thing. Can also be a good thing. If they got like 10 companies, all turning profits, all doing well, then yeah, that person's a powerhouse. That's a person that I would want to join. But if they've just been involved in scam after scam after scam after scam, loss after loss after loss after loss, and this is their new big startup, I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole. Not with my experience in online scams. So, yeah, beware the serial entrepreneur. Do your own research and check them out. Do the owners look like they're honest? Do they sound like they're reputable? Do they have a good history behind them? And if they've got a good history behind them, then chances are they're going to have more good success coming in front of them. But always check them out. And if they're not who they claim to be, run and don't invest in there. Also, I don't know if I covered this or not. What have I missed here on my cheat sheet here? Company has. Oh yes, 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 yes. We have covered that. I think we covered everything. So anyway, yeah. If you're thinking that something might be a Ponzi scheme, remember the definition of Ponzi scheme. That is where there are no real products being sold. The products are either imaginary or they are so low quality that there is no way they can turn a profit. And if it's just like a money grab, where you're taking money from one person, giving it to another person, and saying, here is your share of the profits, that is a Ponzi scheme. But if it's something where there is an actual product that's being sold, and it's a good product, people find value in that product, and they are gaining more and more customers buying that product, and you're getting a share of the profits, then that is a good company, and that is one that you can grow with and prosper with. But yeah, the definition, classic definition of a Ponzi scheme. There is no profitable product or service being offered. It's all just rearranging money, taking money from one pocket, putting it into another. So yeah, check it out and do your own research and save yourself the pain of losing money in an illegal, illegitimate Ponzi scheme scam. So, hope you found some value in this. If you'd like to see what I do for a living, I am in the affiliate marketing area. I've got a little tag here that's running over my head, and it's an affiliate marketing school. Been in business since 2016. We offer a lot of different tools, a lot of training, and we pay 80% recurring commission. So if you are a beginner wanting to get started in affiliate marketing or network marketing, or even if you are a professional wanting to find a new income stream where you can be earning high recurring commissions, go to that link, ralphshomebiz.com, and check it out for yourself. No push. I'm not saying you need to act right now. You have to act right away. No, take your time. Check it out. Make sure it's right for you. Do your own homework, do your own research, and make sure that it is right for you before you pull out your credit card and buy. That's another thing that differentiates a legitimate business from a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi schemes want you to jump, you know. Just don't even think about it. Just do it. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. A legitimate business says, check us out. If we're right for you, welcome aboard. If we're not right for you, have a great life. And that's my attitude in selling from now on. So, wow, that tears it up for today's live stream. We'll be back tomorrow morning with coffee and entrepreneurship about 8 o'clock, talking about AI and how to use AI and how you should not use AI. The difference between using AI productively and wisely and just abusing AI, because there are some definite downers to abusing AI, stuff that can not only negatively impact your business, but stuff that can negatively impact you psychologically and mentally as a human being. And we'll get involved in that around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Till then, have a good one. Take care. Ralph signing out. Now let's see how we turn this live stream off.